Welcome back to WSAU.com. It is Mayor's Monday with Stevens Point Mayor Mike Wiesa. Mr. Mayor, we find you just after Riverfront Rendezvous at the beginning of the month.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a lot less hectic for you now.
Well, and it's really not as hectic for me. Riverfront is really our parks director and their staff, but I enjoy it, so I'm there every day.
Sure. What have you heard about the successes of this year's event?
It went off without a hitch. No major events to speak of. The fireworks show is kind of interesting because we set out a fundraiser and we set a goal of $5,000. Well, we hit that goal. So I called the fireworks company to see if we could up that even a little bit more, and we were. So we then set a goal of $7,000 and we beat that. So we had, this year it was a $17,000 fireworks display. Of course, there's still ideas on how we can make it better, so we're going to continue doing that through next year. To give your listeners an idea of why we did this, we started calling around to other communities to see what they spend on fireworks, and almost everybody around us spends more for their fireworks displays. Plover, for example, spends $22,000. We only had 10, and that was all from city revenue. Our taxpayers pay for that $10,000. Well, all of Plover's money is done through donations, privately raised money. We got a pretty late start on it this year, but we still beat our goal. And then we beat our second goal. So I think that the desire is out there from the community to kick in and actually take part in their community. They are literally our fireworks now. So we're going to continue that program through next year and see how it goes, make it bigger and better.
Do you ever foresee a time when you at the city level may consider trying to do almost this crowdfunding sort of thing for other city projects? I mean, if people are willing to contribute to a one-time fireworks show on the 4th of July, what might they be willing to contribute to down the line? Is that something you're thinking about?
We've actually outdone that through the decades. I mean, this is nothing new, having people do it. I just found out that the horseshoe courts over at Mead Park were started in 1974 by private citizens. They wanted to see it, so they raised some money and they put the pits in. Our dog park, most recently in 2010, we built a 40-acre dog park without a dime of city money. It was all fundraised and through donations and sponsors, and we raised over $40,000 for that. So this is by all means nothing new, but the opportunities do come up every once in a while. And if the people really want to see something in their community, and we can't figure out a way to make it happen budgetarily, well then I'll work with any group to help raise that money to make it happen.
Just this past Monday at the city council meeting, the council unanimously approved essentially decriminalizing underage sexting in the city of Stevens Point.
Well, we're taking it...
By that I mean taking it from...
Decriminalizing
in the sense that you're taking it from a felony
right.
to a misdemeanor.
Right. And not in all cases. But what happened is, so the sexting is the word we're using, where minors are sending inappropriate photographs and messages to other minors, hopefully not adults, because that's a big deal too. But right now, the only way that we can address that is through the state statutes which have it as a felony. There are lesser degrees of those offenses. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to have a tool that allowed us to not have to go the felony route. You don't want to have a 13-year-old be charged with a felony if you don't have to, because that felony is going to stick with you with a minor until at least 18, but in some cases it carries over. We wanted an avenue to address the problem rather than just enforce a punishment. So by having it as an ordinance, it allows us a lot more flexibility to address the issue and make sure it doesn't happen again without having to go the route of prosecuting as a felony. So prior to the ordinance adoption, it was either felony or nothing. Now we have a wide berth, everything from counseling to fining to community service that can be done for the lesser degree offenses, but we still have the felony option for the real serious ones. So it just offered more latitude.
And that's within your power as the city
Absolutely.
to do that. It's not going to be a problem with the state.
Nope.
Okay. I know that the state, at the state level, there's been the talk of sort of, even when it comes to statutory, what's now considered statutory rape, that they're considering lessening the penalty on people, I think, age 20 or younger. You know, if they're caught in that situation with someone age 16 but to 18. You know,
Sure.
between those ages. So yeah, it seems like that's something that is being considered at all levels, trying to take those maybe those underage relationships within that almost high school college level of time,
Yeah.
and making it not necessarily easier for them to do that, but not as much of a criminal penalty. Would you
Well,
say that
and-
that's kind of what you were going for?
Yeah, so I mean, it's never okay in this case, but there are varying degrees of that. Now, I'll give you an example of that. A couple in high school are dating, and they've been dating through high school, and one of them turns 18, but the other one is still 17. Technically, that's a violation of the law if anything happens there. Okay, but it is not the same as a 24-year-old taking advantage of a 16-year-old, for example.
Right.
So there's some varying degrees of severity there, and this is just another tool in the toolbox to allow us to address the most appropriate measure to get to solve the problem.
Sure. I've noticed, and this may be something where it's already happened, but I noticed that the city was looking for members to be serving on different committees within the
Yep,
city.
and we still
different
have a few
citizen-
openings. As a matter of fact, I
Okay.
appointed 2 people to our Arts and Culture Advisory Committee just yesterday. We still have an opening, I believe, on our Transportation Commission and our Deer Culling Committee, and I think our Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee.
Now, if someone was to serve on one of these committees,
Mm-hmm.
a citizen, would they have direct impact, or would they have a direct voice on policies that are shaped within Stevens Point?
They would have a voice in the recommendation of policy. The Common Council has the final authority on all policies and anything that happens in the city. But these are advisory councils, some to me, some to the council. Arts and Culture comes through my office, and then I usually take those recommendations to Plan Commission or whatever is most appropriate, Parks Commission. So yes, there is an opportunity for a more direct impact on your community, Stevens Point, but not necessarily a voting council type authority.
Sure, we have.
The authority there is to make recommendations to whatever the governing body happens to be.
Right, and we have seen, even within the last few months, situations where these committees have recommended something to the council, but
Yep.
the council wound up voting it down for whatever
And
reason.
sometimes they vote in favor of it, sometimes they vote against it. The ideas are what we're really looking for, because 11 people do not have their fingers into every little interest in Portage County. I'll give you an example. When I got into office, I created the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee. They worked diligently, and they got us an almost $400,000 grant to put in some additional bike lanes in the city over the next year or two. We probably wouldn't have got that or even had that idea had we not had that advisory committee. The Deer Culling Committee deals specifically with the deer problems within the city, car and deer accidents, eating gardens, things like that. They are charged with finding solutions for deer abatement. Transportation, obviously, handles all of the public transportation options, from ADRC to the city bus system, the trolley, pedestrian routes potentially, things like that. Just looking for ways to deal with the challenges that come regarding transportation. So there's opportunities if people want to get involved in their community.
Okay, and you're going to be looking to fill those until you don't have any more spots to
Until
fill.
we don't have, when we periodically have committee openings that happen a lot. They can visit our website at stevenspoint.com and look under the clerk's office and then committees to see all of the committees that are there when the terms are up. Sometimes we have resignations midterm, but those openings are always posted on our website, so anybody's able to access those. And then those who wish to serve, there's a form on there as well where you fill out your name and address and why you think you are a good candidate for whatever committee it happens to be. Maybe some relative experience with that particular topic or something along those lines.
Anything coming up in the next few weeks that you'd like people to know about? Maybe a community event or a different policy?
Sure. We have had the privilege of being a recipient of the Levitt Amp Music Grant. Every Thursday, we have live music, different genres, in our Piffner Pioneer Park, similar to what they do up in Wausau. But it's been hugely successful. We only have 2 more Thursdays of that, so I would encourage anyone who hasn't yet experienced it to stop out either next Thursday, or this coming Thursday rather, or the following Thursday, at Piffner Pioneer Park from 6 to 8, live music. Then every Wednesday, we have the City Band, and that's also at Piffner Pioneer Park. And then occasionally, I think there's only one movie left this summer. We had to do Friday movies in the park. And that's, again, all available through our website or our Facebook page. You'll be able to find a schedule there. It's not the city that puts on most of these. Create Portage County is the one who puts on the Levitt Amp series, and Evergreen Community Initiatives does the movies in the park. But they're all great events, an opportunity for you to get out and enjoy the summer, what's left of it, and take advantage of those.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Not a problem. See you later.